We've seen plenty of games based on TV shows or movies and vice versa, but Defiance is the first high-ish profile game and TV show built together from the ground up. But is it any good?
What the hell?
An armada of alien spaceships rock up, carrying a range of different alien species known collectively as the Votans. Their star system has been destroyed and Earth seems pretty cozy, so they decide they'd like to move in.
But the humans don't take too kindly to their presence, so they start a war. But eventually humans and aliens get a bit sick of all the fighting and decide to just get along, mostly. But not before the Earth is irreversibly terraformed.
The show and the game do stand alone, but you'll definitely get more of an insight into this universe by watching the show.
Yeah, the game's storyline is pretty weak. You simply play an Ark hunter who's hunting down alien relics for a mysterious scientist.
I want my equipment out of storage. My Ark hunters and I depart as soon as we land.
And that's about it so far.
Yeah, they say the game and the show are very much linked, with each affecting the other, but in reality, don't expect your actions in the game to be affecting the show that much. Firstly, the show takes place in St. Louis while the game is in San Francisco, so the actual worlds are thousands of kilometers apart.
Is this St. Louis?
And secondly, they've already wrapped up production on the first season of the show, so clearly there's not a whole lot that gamers can affect at this point.
But it is an interesting idea building a whole TV series alongside a game in the same universe. We recently spoke to design development manager Christian Arecci, and he spoke about how the game and the TV show impact one another.
For 5 years, we've really been in step with each other. Along the way, we speak to their writing staff and their production team literally every day. To go over sort of the nuanced things that we want to drive for both the game and for the show and how we influence each other. And we have many layers of that influence. If somebody drops a hint of something in the game, you know that it might be tied into the show if you see that on the next episode, or something in the episode touchstones on something that players are doing in the game. You go, oh, I know that because I actually participated in that. I think we're forging new territory. I think that's the exciting part about this project for myself, is that this is something that really hasn't been attempted.
I can sense your nervousness, but don't fret.
So as you can see, this is a third-person MMO shooter, and to be honest, our first impressions weren't that good. We were disconnected halfway through the intro cutscene, and then just struggled to reconnect.
And when we did finally get in, we were treated to scenes like this.
The weirdness did seem to settle down after a while though, and you can forgive an MMO in its launch week for such things. I actually liked some of the glitches, such as the upside-down vehicles or bikes driving around by themselves. I can't wait to get my own upside-down bike.
I will say though that this is definitely much more of a shooter than it is an RPG. There's nothing really in the way of classes. Your choice of character is either human or Arathian, with no actual perks to either race. But you do get to pick one of 4 skills right at the start of the game, with the choice of a brief damage boost, invisibility, a powerful charge, or a holographic decoy.
As you level up, you'll earn ego points to improve your character, but mostly your improvements will come from buying or earning better guns and gear. I found the customization options a bit lacking. There's nothing really there to make you feel unique or stand out from the crowd, but I am keen to get a new ride.
I thought the shooting was pretty average. I mean, there's no cover system, so you'll end up grinding your way through tougher fights as enemies just spawn through conveniently placed doors. Also, the artificial intelligence is sadly lacking in the intelligence department.
I thought the shooting was okay for an MMO. Mostly you'll just be plugging away on your own in the campaign. Often there are other players in the area doing the same mission as you, which does help with the mobs, but you can't actually assist each other with the objectives.
There are true co-op moments to be had though, such as the Arkfall events. These usually involve some boss fight or big waves of enemies, and players flock to these for some quick cash and loot. And eventually you unlock some 4-player co-op maps.
There's a couple of competitive modes as well, with 2 small deathmatch maps for some 6 versus 6 fragging. And there's also the Shadow Wars, which is a 64-side conquest mode that takes place in the main world map. They're pretty basic and straightforward, but I'm glad they're there.
Yeah, you do carry your gear over from the campaign though, so you definitely want to put in a fair bit of time gearing up there first before jumping into these competitive modes. Also, there is only US and European servers at the moment, so don't expect the best pings.
I do like how the matchmaking takes place in the background though, so you can continue on your questing. There's lots of side quests around the world and little challenges to take on, so there is plenty to do. What did you think of the actual world itself, Hex?
Yeah, I don't know, I thought it was a bit bland and samey, to be honest. I mean, yeah, it's Earth, but it's been completely terraformed, so they had a great opportunity to really bring it to life here. And I don't know, after playing Guild Wars, it's hard to look at this and say, yeah, this is a world I really want to explore.
Sorry about that, friend.
There is a lot you can pick and criticize with this game. It is very MMO light, but having said that, I had a pretty good time just gearing up and joyriding around, taking out dudes.
I think there's a lot of potential here. We played this on PC, and from what I know of the console version, it's got a lot more in the way of bugs and frame rate issues, but you know, there's so little out there in the way of console-based MMOs as well that I think that's a pretty big deal. Plus, it's really nice to see someone trying something new with this, you know, crossover TV show game thing, and so I'm giving it props for that as well. All up, it's a 6.5 out of 10 from me.
I'm gonna give it 7.
Next up, Tiny Power.